Hello and welcome to our special coverage on IPO, and today we are joined by Uniparts India Limited Chairman and MD Mr. Gurdeep Soni. Good morning, sir, and thank you for joining our show. Sir, my first question is tell us the journey about the company.
Good morning, and really thank you for taking me on your show. It's a pleasure. Uniparts India Limited, that's the name of the company. We actually started the business back in 1984 by my brother and I. We started as a company that was exporting parts for agricultural machinery to USA in the aftermarket. And then till 1990, we were only in USA. In 1990, we started selling in Europe, again to the aftermarket. In 1996, we started selling to the OEM with a company out of Germany. And it was until the year 2000, we were just an export company. We actually started selling in the Indian market in the year 2000. That's the year when companies like John Deere and Case New Holland were setting up plants in India. And so that started our journey with the Indian market. But having said that, even today, exports are over 83% of our business, and the domestic market is 13.5% for us. We are in two areas. To tell you we are not on highway, we are off highway. So what we do is we make parts for tractors and parts for construction machinery. On the tractors, we specialize in what is known as the 3-point linkage system. This is a system that is behind a tractor, and it is used by the farmer to implement, to attach his implement to the tractor. The tractor is sold by the OEMs along with the 3-point linkage system. It's an integral part of the tractor, and therefore my customers are primarily the OEMs who buy the 3-point linkage system from us globally. On the 3-point linkage system, in fact, we are one of the 3 largest in the world, and we have a 16.68% global share. More importantly, out of the top 10 manufacturers of agricultural machinery in the world, all top 10 are my customers, including the largest company in the world. A brief on the other segment of our business, which is construction machinery. Again, we sell what is known as articulation joints on construction machinery. These are joints that are on every arm of the front loader, back loader, skid steer, excavator of the construction machinery. It's a very fragmented market, but we still have a global share of 5.92% over here. Again, out of the top 10 largest construction machinery manufacturers in the world, outside of China, because China is by itself a very large in construction machinery, but we don't do any business with China, nor do we plan to. So the top 10 outside of China, 5 are my customers, including the largest company in the world. We have 6 manufacturing locations. 5 of them are in India and 1 is in USA. And in addition to that, we have 3 warehouses. We have 2 in USA and 1 in Germany. And really use the warehousing model as a selling model to supply risk-free to our customers globally.
Let me share the detail. जो भी दर्शक इस कार्यक्रम को देख रहे हैं उनको कंपनी के आईपीओ के बारे में बता देते हैं। 30 नवंबर से आईपीओ खुलेगा एंड 2 दिसंबर तक ये आईपीओ खुला रहेगा। आईपीओ में प्रमोटर्स ओएफएस के जरिए करीब 1.45 करोड़ शेयर ऑफर कर रहे हैं। आईपीओ का प्राइस बैंड 548 से 577 के बीच में रहेगा। कंपनी कंस्ट्रक्शन एग्री माइनिंग के लिए इंजीनियरिंग सिस्टम बनाती है। जैसा कि सर ने बताया कि कंपनी का जो एक्सपोर्ट मार्केट है इंटरनेशनली वो बहुत स्ट्रांग है, तो यहाँ पर कंपनी कारोबार करती है। सर, what's the total proceeds you are expecting through this IPO post this OFS? What could be the promoter holding?
Before the IPO, the promoter holding is a little over 75%. There is 20.68% owned by private equity investors and another 1.7% by external investors who are based in USA. So the private equity and the external investors are exiting completely. And the promoters are making up the balance of it to make it a sizable issue. And post the IPO, the promoters will still hold close to 66% of the stock. And another 2.5% of the stock is sitting in ESOPs, with the key management of the company.
And so you tried to come with IPO in 2014 and 18, but did not went further. So what happened at that point of time?
So while we as a company were ready to do it, and that's why we came in the markets, but the market conditions prevalent at that time, the BRLMs, the banks actually told us to defer our IPOs because the market was not conducive for IPOs in that period. So both the attempts we did not, but right now we are back in the market, and it is also a very good time. Our own industry and our own business is going through an extremely strong phase, and the company is in very, very strong financials as well.
Okay, so can you please share the financial of last fiscal, sir?
So the last FY22, we've had a top line of 1,227 crores. We've had a EBITDA of 271 crores, which is 22%, and a PAT of 168 crores, which is 14%. More importantly, our ROCE is 31% and our ROE is 26.8%. We are a very cash-rich company. Our debt actually is on 31st March was down to about 100 crores. 4 years ago, it used to be 250 crores. So a lot of cash accrual in the company, which is allowing us to reduce our debt. At the same time, we have got a 25% stated dividend policy because of the strong cash flows that we plan to maintain.
So globally, there are talks that recession is coming. And you are just in a business where the macroeconomic indicators generally impact the company. So do you have any kind of fear of recession?
Good question. While we are talking about, or we are hearing about the recession in USA and Europe, but we are in two specific industries. We are in the agricultural machinery and the construction machinery. And both of these are definitely not being impacted or are going to be impacted by the recession. And I'll give you the reasons for that. Take USA. Last year, the USA, in fact, passed a $1 trillion infrastructure bill to spend on the infrastructure in the United States. And that's a lot of money that they're going to spend in the next 3 to 4 years. Even oil and gas is, companies are making so much money that the infrastructure spend on oil and gas is at an all-time high. And we are seeing that, the China Plus One policy, which most USA companies embarked on, actually they started about 4 years ago when the Trump tariffs came, but really with a couple of years were disrupted because of the COVID. But since then, there has been a great move to start sourcing from countries like India is something what they call as friend shoring, buying from countries that are friends of the United States, So we are seeing the infrastructure bill doing a great job, the China Plus One. And then, the Ukraine-Russia war actually took out almost 40 million tons of exportable grain from the market, 20 million from Russia and about 20 from Ukraine. And therefore, the food prices went up, the price of grain went up. In fact, if you recall, even the Indian farmers, they started exporting, but the government put a ban because they did not want inflation to go up in India because of the prices. But in USA and Europe, the farmer actually is making the most money he has ever made. There are figures to say that the farm incomes are at a 5-year high in these countries. And so the farmer has got a lot of money. There is, because of COVID, the replacement of equipment could not take as planned. And so there's almost a 1-year delay of replacement of equipment, which is leading to pent-up demand. Countries at the dealers are actually almost negligible. We are told that most of the machines that our top customers make have a 3 to 6 month wait list even today. So with all this, we are seeing no impact of the interest rates going up. In fact, the largest construction company in the world just recently announced their results as well. I've actually talked about the peak coming in 2026. And again, on the agricultural machinery, again, the largest customer in the world that we have is talking about a peak coming in 2025. So really, despite what is happening on the interest rate, we don't see any impact of recession on both these industries.
Okay, perfect, sir. So you are just searching the opportunity in the diversity. So that's a great thing. Sir, can you tell us the revenue segregation in terms of export and domestic? What's your domestic revenue and what's the export revenue?
So in percentages, my domestic business is only 13.5%.
Okay.
Like I said, my top line last year was 1,227 crores, and my export is 83%. Out of this export, I have a manufacturing company unit in USA, and 13% of my top line comes from there. 87% of what we sell and produce is made in India and sold. So that's a breakup of the revenues of what we make and sell.
So you generally get some orders from the export front?
So let me explain to you how this works. All the customers that we work in, we are attached to EDI, electronic database, to their systems, because we do so many part numbers. We actually as a company do over 12,000 part numbers. And for each part number, they actually give us a forecast that is anything from 12 months to 18 months. And these forecasts to plan our production. In fact, my selling model is primarily through my warehouse. 41% of my sales happen through the warehouses. Is also my most profitable sales outlet. And what my warehouses do is they actually see what the customer wants 6 months from today, and they place the orders in India. It takes about 90 days to manufacture, and another 2.5 months. It is what we call as on water. By the time it leaves my factory and reaches the warehouses. So that's the selling model. So we have a forecast that, and if there is a fluctuations in demand, then we have 2 months of inventory sitting in our warehouses, and like I said, another 2.5 months on water, and that take care of all the fluctuations. In fact, this warehouse model has been tested so well during the COVID times that even when India was closed for 2 months, our supplies carried on to our customers, because the food industry was declared essential in USA and Europe, and because farming is done only by machinery, so even our customers were allowed to continue manufacturing machines, and we were able to supply them 100% fill-in during this period as well.
So during this billing cycle, are you getting the advantage of depreciating rupees?
So we have until 4 years ago, we used to pass the depreciation to the customers. But 4 years ago, we told our customers that, when you look at a 10-year period of the depreciation of the rupee to the US dollar, which is about 3.8%. And if you look at the inflation delta in India, in India, the inflation average is 6%. And USA is 2%. Again, that is 4% delta. So there's almost a 0.9 correlation between the inflation in India and the depreciation of the rupee. So we told our customers that either you give us the inflation in India, or you do away with the depreciation that we get out of the rupee. All my customers have agreed that they will give away the depreciation. So yes, we don't pass on any benefit, and the depreciation rupee helps us with our inflation in India.
So what could be the benefit in this fiscal?
So we continue to have this benefit year on year. We've been having it for many years, but it's a positive tailwind that we see from our system. And it continues to be like that.
So you are adopting any hedging strategy to safeguard in case the rupee reverse from these levels?
Correct. So we do have a hedging policy in our company where we have stated that we will hedge up to 50% of our receivables in foreign exchange. And as we speak, we are at 32% right now.
Very good. Thank you very much, sir. And all the best for your IPO. We hope कि आपके IPO को बहुत अच्छा response मिले, और जिस तरह से आपने कंपनी को एक रन किया है, उसी तरह से आपके IPO को भी शेयर होल्डर्स उसी तरह से रन करें. स्टॉक मार्केट में आपका स्वागत है. Thank you very much and congratulations
for taking me online. Thank you so much.
Thank you.